Hello, this is the Astrofiend, and I'm back with another podcast. I guess episode 2? I guess that's what I'm calling it. Episode 2 of season 2 of podcasting. My first round was 2 years ago, by the way. So these seasons are not annually, maybe biannually, I don't know. But anyway, yes, I recorded a podcast a couple of days ago, and I turned it into a video and I uploaded it today on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, with a whole bunch of other lyric astrology songs where I'm singing and rapping, and I just been on a creativity binge where I'm just creating and producing things in batches, which is why I'm doing this right now. Yeah, I would say there are a lot of benefits to the lockdown. Yeah, I know I sound like a fucked up person for saying that, because the situation is very serious, and I mean, I'm trying to be respectful, but in my personal life, there's a lot of benefits to the situation, being on lockdown. For one, I'm very creative. I'm feeling very creative. There isn't really much to do, and I'm not the type of person that needs a lot of stimulation, but at the same time, if you're only going out once or twice every month, you need some type of stimulation. And I haven't really been binging on anything. I did started rewatching Scandal from season 2, but I don't feel like it. It's weird, but I don't feel like binging shows or movies or anything like that. If I am binging something, it's just going on YouTube. That's where I go all the time. I'm on YouTube. And when I'm on YouTube, I don't know, it's strange. As I said, I've just been in this creative bubble where I'm just binging, creating songs. I don't know how to explain it, but I just think it's not weird, but it's weird. It's weird in the sense that it's such a crazy, serious, sad, transformative period right now. And that's the weird part comes in, where you get inspiration from that, which makes it seem like you're a fucked up person that's desensitized to everything. But at the same time, it's not weird, because it makes perfect sense, especially if you're a Plutonian. And I was saying oh, I'm a Plutonian, but I'm also a Sagittarian. But that's a topic for another day, time, whatever. But again, I've just been on this creative binge, and today I don't even, I do a lot of pausing and stuff like that, pausing and saying and all that stuff. One thing I'm not is, for the most part, I know how I feel about certain things, and I won't ever call myself a bad communicator. Maybe a non-communicator at times, but definitely not a bad communicator. And I don't know, for some reason my mind just races, and okay, random, but I didn't really want to believe that I have a Mercury square Uranus, because when I first discovered that I had it, I was I can't have it because the orbs are too wide. And some astrologers are very like particular about like orbs, like saying, oh, it has to be within these certain degrees and all that other bullshit. And I'm just like, I just ignored it. And I know like a lot of people that are into astrology, like, you understand like what I'm talking about. Certain things you just ignore in your chart, not because you dislike them or anything like that. It's just that like it's not, well, one, it's not relevant in your life, and two, like some arbitrary like rule, like rules in astrology, like, oh, if your planet is detriment, then like blah blah blah, like those type of like traditional astrology like rules. And you know, orbs is like a big thing in certain like communities. Like now I'm more mature, so I don't care about all that, and I've accepted it. But like my Mercury like square like Uranus, like I'm kind of realizing that like now my mind is all over the place, but I don't know how to describe it. It's like in a grounded sort of way, so it's not like glitchy, if that makes any sense. Like my mind is all over the place, but it's in a grounded, because my Uranus is in Capricorn, and I also have a minor, I think a semi-square or sextile, one of those, to Saturn. So like, and also my Mercury is in retrograde in the 8th house. So it's just like a lot of things in terms of like my communication, if that makes any sense. Like literally when I'm talking, I'm thinking of like so many things. It's like computer tabs, like on your browser, like browser tabs. Like if you, I'm sure like everyone can relate to this, but like I literally have like at least like 6 tabs open all at once. So much so that I pin them so I can make room for more like tabs. And I'm sure everyone else is like that too, but that's how like my thinking kind of is. That's why I love like writing. I I would say like, this is my quote, and I've been saying it for years, but my mind is a lot faster than my mouth. And you would think because I have a Mercury in Aries, I'm just like, blah, like talking like shit, but no. It ain't like that. Like, I'm a quiet person. Like, I don't talk to everyone. Like, which is kind of like also makes me apprehensive about like constantly communicating and putting myself out there in that way. Like, but on that like side, I'm trying to make this 15 minutes, because my podcast that's gonna be coming out soon is literally an hour and 10 minutes long. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't mean for it to be an hour and 10 minutes. Like, I swear I'm just like rambling. And I remember like when I started doing podcasts, I would try to like outline it. But it's one thing to outline something and to like stick to your outline. And if I'm writing, I'll definitely like stick to an outline. But if I'm speaking, that's like another thing. Like, I just go off topic, I start thinking about other things, and it's just like that tab like situation, like that browser tab situation. But and I also forget what else my points, so I'm all over the place. But okay, pretty much my whole point for this sort of podcast is to just talk about the Astrofiend origins, and maybe a little bit about like my astrology like origins, like how I became interested in it and all that other crap. And this is supposed to be 15 minutes, but it's almost 10 minutes. Like, it ain't happening. I'm sorry, mind, and whoever wants to listen to this, I'm sorry, like, my bad, sorry. But yeah, one, I decided to do this because, one, again, like when you're creative and when you like actually like put in the work and like finish your goals, finish what you set out to do, you want to do more. And it's just like this crazy, like, snowball, like, type of feeling. Where, like, oh, I finished that, I'm gonna do that. It's like, I don't know. It's like an amazing high, if that makes any sense. Because, like, literally for the past, like, I don't know, since, like, this whole lockdown started, like, a couple of weeks, like, after, like, maybe, like, a week or 2 weeks after, that's when I started to feel, like, a creative motivation. And it's been burning ever since. Like, in the past, like, 2 months, I think I did, like, 10 videos. Which sounds crazy. And, like, yesterday I uploaded, like, 6 videos, including an hour long, using, like, my hotspot, my Wi-Fi hotspot, which is crazy. So, and, like, the past days I was editing, and it's just so much. It's just so much. And, like, I kind of like it. I like 85% like it. Like the process, the recording, the finding beats. But it could be sometimes annoying. Well, maybe not 85, maybe 75%. Because, like, again, like, I'm a cardinal sign, but I'm also, like, a very fixed person, so I don't like to be doing too much. Like, I don't like to be doing too much. I'll tell you that. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm like a planner. I like putting all things together and doing everything, like, at once. I'm not someone that likes to, like, do this one day and then do that the next day and then, like, no, like, even though, like, I do admire that, like, discipline, like, and I think I could achieve that because I do have Mars conjunct Saturn, so, like, I could do that shit if I really wanted to. But me writing online, and with the Astrofiend in particular, this is like my creative astrology outlet, and it's important, like, to me. And the minute it starts feeling like work or like an obligation, like, it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? And, like, I consider myself a very creative person. And, like, again, like, that here comes, like, my Saturn energy. And I don't know, like, there's a part of me that just, like, wants to be, like, really disciplined. There's, like, a huge part of me that wants to be, like, really disciplined. But there's also a huge part of me that just wants to be creative and not give a fuck and, like, not feel bad that I'm, like, kind of going against some parts of my nature, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or whatever. And I don't know how, but I, like, managed to, like, escape my whole point. Okay, whatever. Anyways, listen, click out if you haven't already, because it's, like, almost 14 minutes. But click out if you don't like rambling. I'll say that. If you don't like rambling, if you want someone to be concise and neat and, like, have, like, no run-on sentences, like, go somewhere else. Like, go somewhere else. Bye. I don't need you. LOL. But that aside, I don't even know what was my main point. But that aside, one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this whole podcast, other than feeding off, like, my creative productivity and energy, is because today is Gemini season, the first official day, in my opinion, and it's May 21st. And May 21st is kind of significant. Well, no, I don't. Is it significant? See, like, this is like my thought process. I'm like constantly thinking about my words. Also, not only is my mind like the tabs effect in like your browser, like Chrome or something like that, but there's also like a self-editing part, which is just but okay, may or may not, May 21st may or may not be significant. I don't know yet. I'm still deciding. Well, no, it's not necessarily significant, but it's significant in the sense that I like zoom my Twitter. I have multiple Twitters. I'm not into Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in like years. And you know, since like the lockdown, I've been doing things I haven't done in a while. So like I decided, you know what? I'm going to change one of my Twitter accounts from my old astrology like blog name before I started the Astrofiend. I'm gonna change that from that to the Astrofiend and start maybe retweeting again, get back into it, quote unquote branding and promoting myself, which I fucking hate. But yeah, and as I was doing that, I'm like, hey, it's Gemini season. Hey, next week is Memorial Day. We've been like pretty much inside for 2 months. That's crazy. And then I decided, oh, let me check out what tweets I can make about Gemini. So I just googled my astrology like series, why your sign ain't shit, and I just pull up the Gemini version because I made one for all 12 signs. They're amazing, by the way. And I was just reading it, trying to figure out like what like to post, and I realized that it's May 21st, 2015. So that was 5 fucking years ago. 5 fucking years ago, which is fucking crazy. Like, it's crazy. And I was just like reading like through it, and I was just laughing about how like ridiculous and how like no filter like I was, which is like freaking amazing. Like I love like reading my old blog posts like back, no matter how like problematic they are and how like fucked up they are and how like vulgar, and like I love it. Like I freaking love it. Maybe it's the Mercury in the 8th house in me, but I love that shit. I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like talking so much shit and it was so vulgar, and I just loved it. And by the way, I don't like speak like that in like my normal life, like unless like you're one of like my close friends, and I don't have like that many. Like, you ain't part of the team, sorry, no, like it's not gonna happen, no. But yeah, I was just like reading it and just like I was laughing to myself, and like I was like looking at the comments, and like some people were like butthurt, and I was just laughing at them being butthurt because random. But whenever like you talk shit about like a sign, people are saying, oh, you must have been hurt by someone by that sign. Like, no, I'm just talking shit, deal with it. Like, fuck, like the fuck. But yeah, I just like love how like I felt so free, and I just didn't give a fuck, and I was like, and I just find myself like laughing and like entertaining myself off of like my words, like the bad grammar, the spelling mistakes. I love that shit. So raw. That's what I loved about it, which kind of like made me go on a like a little downward like spiral. Cause then I was thinking, I'm thinking about my old blog, Decode World, but it's spelled D-E-E, Cole as in like, you know, J. Cole, and world as in like, you know, the world. And I just remember like just like thinking, oh, and know. I mean, I'm talking about like my origin stories, how I got from the cold world on hub pages to a brief stint of the cold world on Tumblr, and then the Astrofiend, which is like the most I've been committed to it. But random, okay, I went down like the rabbit hole. Apparently, like, my Tumblr was deactivated, so I had to reactivate it to like look at my Tumblr, like my old Tumblr like blog, astrology blog. And uh I don't know, it's just like crazy just like to think about. And that was like so short-lived. Oh my gosh. I only had 6 posts, and I made all 6 posts in a day. Well, no, like within an hour. Like every 10 minutes I like posted some. I like put another blog post, and I only did 6 posts for like it's cringy. Like I'll probably like put some like screenshots like at the end of this like podcast, which is now 21 minutes. Like fuck, I'm mad. I don't want this to be an hour. Like no, ew. Maybe I'll just like do a part 1 and part 2. I don't know, but I don't want this to fucking be an hour. But anyways, so I was just like looking at it, and it's just like 6 blog posts, and it's within 10 minutes of each other. So, and I was like talking about, oh, welcome, and then had another post, and then had another post talking about the skinny signs and the fat signs, and da-da-da-da. By the way, I'm probably gonna put it on the Astrofiend. But even before like that Tumblr blog, I started writing for hub pages 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, that was like 2013, which is crazy. So I started writing for hub pages, and during this time I was like a broke ass college student, so I was trying to find ways to like make money like online, you know, passive income and shit like that. And I was like thinking, you know what, if I start an astrology like start writing, it's not a blog, but it's like a forum. But I was thinking, you know, it's smart and it's very good way to learn about astrology while writing and teaching other people about astrology, which is like amazing. And I could earn money, and I could be balling and all that shit. That didn't happen, by the way. But yeah, that's how I like mainly learned like astrology. Like I've been like interested in astrology for like over 10 years, but my college years was when I learned the most about like astrology. Like, ooh. And I don't know, it's just like amazing. I was just like writing, learning, but after a while I was like thinking like, I'm not earning any fucking money. I'm only earning fucking cents. I don't know who the fuck is reading it. Am I just wasting my time? So I decided, I started deciding, well, I didn't decide it just yet, but I was deciding if I should continue. I still wasn't like fully there yet, but in my mind I was thinking like, no, like I spent hours writing, spent hours doing this and that, and there were like so much restrictions. You couldn't curse. Not that like at that time I would be comfortable like cursing like that, but it had to be a certain word count. The images you had to use had to be like copyright free. It was just annoying. Like I couldn't stand it. And I think this was also around the time that Alyssa Sharp, now like the Divine Venus, that's when like she started like doing videos. And I think, no, I'm not sure she started doing videos at that time, 2013, but I think that's when I started watching videos by her, by the Peace Dealer, by Astrology. So I was like getting really inspired by them, like especially like the Divine Venus. I still call her Alyssa Sharp or Alyssa Trahan, but whatever. So I just like started feeling inspired by that, but I still like kind of wasn't there yet. And okay, 2013. During that time was also like a difficult like year for me. But like the first half of it, like I was dealing with some bullshit, some like health shit and stuff like that. So during that time, I decided, I was like, you know what? Fuck everything. And I decided to study abroad. And that's how I started the Decode Tumblr blog, vlog, whatever. But that's when I started it. And you know what? It's 26 minutes. So I think I'm going to end it here and then do part 2.